So let's begin the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority meeting of October 17th, 2022. If we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Catherine, if you could
Roll call.
do a roll call, please.
Dorothy Johnston.
Not here.
Pete Schultz.
Here.
Ron Charles.
Here.
Marie Powers. Here. Ashley Ross. Here. Kathy Colvin here. Grace Carey. Here. Bryce Clark.
Here.
Okay. There's no public, I guess Mr. Medor's over there, he doesn't count as the public, I assume, so we'll just move on. Item number 5, the consent agenda. So 5,
If there are no other corrections or additions, I make motion to approve tonight's agenda as presented.
Second.
any discussion?
Rod, did you want to add?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I want to add to this, how do we have that worded? We want to add the election of officers for this coming year.
Yes.
Sorry. So we're gonna, so I guess we first have to, protocol-wise, do we have to vote that down?
You can amend
You can amend it.
Can amend, so would you mind amending that, Pete?
Sure. I would make a motion to make that as 9B.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Let's do a roll call vote just to give us a chance to catch our breath, Catherine.
Okay. Pete Schultz.
Yes.
Ron Charles.
Yes.
Marie Powers.
Yes.
Ashley Ross. Yes. Kathy Colvin, yes. Grace Carey.
Yes.
Bryce Clark.
Yes.
So let me back up just a minute. So we've made that 9B.
Yes.
So we've approved the agenda. Okay, next item. Go ahead.
I make a motion to receive and file items 5B, C, and D, the September 22 meeting minutes, police report, and code enforcement report.
Second.
Seconded, discussion? Roll call, please.
Pete Schultz.
Yes.
Ron Charles.
Yes.
Marie Powers.
Yes.
Ashley Ross.
Yes.
Kathy Colvin, yes. Grace Carey.
Yes.
Bryce Clark.
Yes.
Okay, item number 6. We'll be done before Kimberly gets here, I think.
Hang on, I'm taking notes as fast as I can.
I'm taking notes too, so.
Oh, thanks. Do you want to just do it?
Sure.
Okay, great.
I make a motion to approve the financial statements and revenue expenditure reports and paying the bills in the amount of $19,686.16.
Second?
Seconded, discussion? Okay, roll call, please, Catherine.
Pete Schultz.
Yes.
Marie Powers.
Yes.
Ron Charles.
Yes.
Ashley Ross.
Yes.
Kathy Colvin, yes. Grace Carey.
Yes.
Bryce Clark.
Yes.
Okay, item number 7, the DDA reports. Let's start with the executive director's report, please.
All right. So we had a great month. We had an awesome Scarecrow Fest. It was jam-packed, but we had spread it out into the parking lot and in the park and utilizing Washington Square, and it was just really fun to see all of the families out. Got good feedback from the businesses that were open, and I actually went out to dinner with some of the volunteers after, and the restaurant that we were in was pretty jam-packed after from overflow, so that was really nice to see. Our farmer and artisan market wrapped up for the year. So one of the things that Kimberly and I felt was important to have some of our larger vendors that really did bring a crowd in, have them commit early for next year. That way when we go to market and advertise earlier next year, we can advertise these specific vendors that they're coming back. So we were able to get commitments from our pierogi gals, which draws in a large crowd. And then if you guys were there, you saw that large produce farmer that had all of those tents set up. They've committed for next year. So that was really nice to have those two on board. And we had a couple of smaller ones too that said absolutely we're coming back. But those are the two that we had taking kind of public comment from and knowing their following even from a Facebook perspective and knowing the audience that they reach and found it was really important. So that was really nice to see. Kimberly did a really great job with the market this year. We had a lot of great meetings with business owners and new business owners that are coming into the community. Empty spaces are going to be filled, so we have 2 that are just leased downtown, which means that we have 2 of those kind of major spaces is what I would call them left. But it's really nice to just be meeting with these business owners on the forefront of everything, helping them with their grant applications, talking them through what the DDA does and how we can help them, and also guiding them. I think it's really important for us to kind of be in on those initial conversations if we can, because we know how we want the downtown to look and what we want to bring to the downtown. We launched our Business Forward program with Oakland County. So Isaac Wolf has been meeting with business owners in the community. The Business Forward program was rolled out by Oakland County in March, but we were kind of halfway down the list to receive an actual consultant for Business Forward program. So Isaac and I met and we actually tied Lake Orion right into it because he's the consultant for Lake Orion and Oxford. And we'll have an open house coming up where any of the businesses can come and utilize their services. But then Isaac's established open business hours twice a month, and he's at Evergreens, and we've pushed that out to the business community where they can go and meet. And it can be anything from, you know, they're just starting their business, so they need some help with advertising, to we had one of our business owners that's looking to expand, and she needed some help with attorneys, and they were able to help put her in touch with attorneys, and they actually can take on some of the cost for them as well, which was really neat to see. So I've been tying him into a lot of different conversations, and it looks like our businesses are really starting to take advantage of that, so I like to see that.
Kelly, how are you communicating to the business owners?
Yeah, so we have 2 primary ways that we communicate. One is in the closed business Facebook group that we have. We see that most business owners like that way of communication and they can get back to us quickly. The other one is email. And then if I really need to get in touch with them, then I'll just text them or call them if I need immediate answers. But they're usually pretty good at getting back to us.
How about the White House district? There's much participation?
So we're starting to see a little bit more. You know, we do have participation from 3 of them for Witches Night, and they would like the check-in down there. So we made the check-in down there to try to focus on the White House district and then have people walk down this way. So the people that do want to be involved, you know, we treat them like any other business in the downtown and really try to push them.
I think with Isaac Wolf.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So he, it's really cool program. So the Business Forward program doesn't just touch our district, it's all of Oxford businesses, but then any home-based businesses as well. So it's not just from a DDA perspective. So I put Isaac in touch with the chamber, and then also we pushed it out to the whole community on Facebook for their services.
Well, it's about Facebook, a number of people don't use it, so I just didn't want to tell them.
Yep, so he will, I met with, we're gonna talk about this later, but I did meet with Aaron, who's working on our website. So we actually created a page that this is going to live on our website where they can get in touch with him directly. But she's already developing that. I gave her all the information that if somebody doesn't have Facebook, they'll be able to still get his contact info.
Even what I mentioned to you earlier about the bicycle shop that's looking to open, that would be something that would fit real well. Even today they're asking about logos and signs. I told them to contact you about this.
Yep, so we've already chatted through, they have all their facade and signage paperwork. We've already chatted through that with Larry. And then I did introduce him to the Business Forward program and gave him Isaac's contact information.
Okay.
I finished up our third quarter reports for Oakland County. I attended my first leadership committee through Main Street. That was that specialized committee that they were nice enough to ask me to participate in. We secured all sponsorships for Soup and Sweet Stroll already, which is wonderful. We had over 50 volunteers this month across all of our things. Hi, Kimberly. 2 new board members. Welcome, you guys. We helped the library through a vision planning, so they asked the DDA to come in and kind of give them an overview of the downtown district and where we're headed and what we see in the future. So I was able to go to that meeting and just kind of describe what our businesses are going through, where we've been the past year and a half to where we are right now. And then we set up holiday markets for December, and we've secured a Santa, which will be fun to draw people to the downtown. We'll have the trolley running on Sundays and really try to feed people into the restaurants and businesses, trying to liven up the place on Sundays.
I'm going to interject right here about the Santa, because I have 2 possible Santas for that gap, but I don't remember the date. Was that December
2nd.
2nd? So I got 2 people I've talked with about, they have Brad Jacobson. Well, most of us know Brad Jacobson. He's the best Santa Claus you can
He'll
imagine.
be the one for our markets, for all 3 markets.
Yeah, he's great, but I got a couple other folks that can substitute that slot that he can't fill. So.
Yes, and thank you to Homegrown, because they're gonna let us use their greenhouse. We're gonna decorate it, so it's be a fun place to take pictures.
I'm going to let you catch your breath for a minute. I'm going to come back to something you mentioned about the farmer's market or
Yeah.
artisan market. What are we calling it?
Farmer, artisan market, we call it both because we really do go both categories.
And then maybe, what do you see as pluses and minuses of this year's, it's the first year we've done it, right? So in the evaluation process, I mean, what are some things you thought went well, some things that you thought could be
Do you
done
wanna
differently? Kimberly, you want to stand up?
Yeah.
here to the microphone?
If you don't mind.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
That's why we have board meetings.
I apologize for my attire. I was at ballet class. So we did receive quite a bit of feedback, both from the community and from the vendors that participated in the farmers market. Some of it we took during the course of the year or during the series, and we made changes throughout the series. Some of the feedback was they wanted to see more produce vendors. So you had asked about what do we call it. Initially we called it open air farmer and artisan market, and we got a lot of feedback where we're not seeing the farmers, we want to see more farmers, more produce. And so about halfway through we started to implement more farmers. That's proving to be a bit of a challenge, unfortunately, just because of some of the dynamics with some of the farms. But we have learned through that process, and I think we have secured a vendor for next year, fingers crossed. And they were really easy to work with. They're very positive, upbeat, and they feel really good about helping us with our market for next year. Also, we heard that the spots, people would prefer to have consistent spots within the market so that they have the same place, the same location to go to each week. A lot of vendors, especially those that are coming from different locations, like further away locations, would get there at 2:30, 3 o'clock so that they could get the spot that they wanted instead of coming at a more reasonable time and getting whatever was left. And then there was some also feedback kind of around just the structure of where we were placing people. And we did have some challenges with that just because one of the learning lessons we also had was how are we going to kind of hold vendors accountable next year? It's such a burden for us to navigate trying to see who's going to be there each week, because although we requested them to come and commit to the 13-week series, we weren't seeing that actually come to fruition. So unfortunately, we would have, spaces open, we would have to kind of move people. One week we would have, 32 vendors, the next week we would have 25. So there was some discussion, and we're still working on receiving that feedback and kind of figuring out our plan for next year.
Any questions?
Actually,
Yeah.
No, I don't have a question, I just have a comment. So our market came in second in the state of Michigan.
It did.
I don't remember the organization, but I think we should point that out.
Yeah.
Which only came next to the Flint Farmers Market. If you've been to that,
And that's a big one.
the Flint or the Davison market?
Flint.
Flint, yeah. And I think that as we move forward, I think we will also be more picky on who we accept. And now we can be, because through the season, we had so many more people after they saw the kind of traffic we were getting, they really wanted to be a part of it. So I think next year also we'll sit down and we'll be very strategic about who we let be there, and we can be really picky on products.
Grace, you?
Yeah, I have a suggestion. So obviously the markets were phenomenal, but I've received some requests from business owners and residents in the adjacent lots that the tables be returned to Washington Square after the market.
Okay.
So especially in the past few weeks, the picnic tables have been left very close to the doors, so it's kind of been a bit of a hazard to get out of the building. So I just wanted to suggest that maybe we assign a point person next year for like after market cleanup and just make sure everything gets back into Washington Square.
I think that's a great idea, and also getting the games back out and kind of like organizing it the way that we want to. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Oh, wait, I'm
Just
sorry.
a comment. On the Christmas market, or whatever we're calling it, maybe we could simply call it a holiday market, and then we don't have to differentiate whether it's
Yes, and
farmers, produce, because people tend to really analyze the name and then...
ask and you shall receive.
Oh,
We did. We left it very broad and did holiday market.
okay.
So,
You're still
and I would really like to, and I chatted with Rod about this, is having a sponsor of the market next year. We had a business in the district reach out to us that would really like to partner with the DDA on something large and fund a large something. They suggested concerts in the park, but I really feel strongly about Oxford Bank has been a great partner. They want to be on concerts in the park, and I just don't feel good about just sliding it to somebody else. So I thought, you know, this might be something for them to take on. We can have some money put towards it. We did make over $3,000 this year just from vendors. So we made some money as well. So I think that we can promote the market better if we have to do some additional, maybe even somebody helping after the market to get that stuff cleaned up, because it's us usually moving those picnic tables. But maybe that's something that we can do too with those funds. Or maybe this business would want to send out some volunteers after and help us.
Maybe we could go to a first come, first serve basis as far as them being able to pick their spot, and then if they don't show up the next week, they lose that.
Yeah, that's a great
Something
idea.
like
And we have talked about that, and I think that is phenomenal. And that really incentivizes them to be there, or at least give us notice. We were unfortunately running into the fact that people were not giving us notice, and then they just wouldn't show up.
Pete, any comment from the fire department perspective on the market?
No, that was good.
Okay, thank you. I do want to bring a question here too, I see on your schedule. Or if you got, I'm jumping ahead, so I'll wait to get there. So go ahead, I'm sorry. I'll let you
You're okay.
finish
So,
your part, and I'll jump in again.
yeah, so just some things that are coming up that I'm excited about is I was asked to sit on a placemaking panel for all the placemaking that we've done in the past year here in Oxford. So that's this Wednesday, and then they just messaged me yesterday and asked me to actually present, so I'm putting that together for tomorrow to get that to them. I was also asked to head a group of directors to present to the county for additional funding for ARPA funds, so that'll be coming up. We have Witches Night, October 22nd. It's supposed to be 68 and sunny this Saturday, so what a blessing that is. We have great buy-in from really everybody. Everybody's keeping their doors open, so I think it's going to be phenomenal. Molly and I were asked to present on our Stronger Together partnership at the state MDA conference coming up here in November, so we'll be driving over to Muskegon for that. We have the Soup and Sweet Stroll December 2nd, and then holiday markets kick off December 4th. So I think a lot of fun things coming up.
What are you doing in your spare time?
Actually, I have an earring business, so. But yeah, and then I just added a couple of flyers for y'all to see here. So this is the business forward open house. We're gonna do it in Lake Orion at their village headquarters, but everybody from Oxford and Lake Orion are invited. But if you guys would like to come to that, you can meet Isaac. And then we have our holiday markets that I put in here. And then just to show you some of our marketing material, we did our 3 events for 'Tis the Season to celebrate the holidays. And then we also, I provided you just a list of the sponsors that sponsored the Soup and Sweet Stroll, because I thought that that was a great group. And then we have some sponsors that wanted to be involved, and we had to create spaces for them so that they could be a part of it too, which is great.
Kelly, All right, so what time does Witches Night start on the 22nd?
Starts at 5, and we'll do check-in down in the White House District, and we'll go
What are we
to
checking
9.
for?
So we had businesses bring fun stuff to us all week, so anything from like coupons for the businesses to like little tchotchke kind of things, and we stuff the bags and then we hand it out. It's just an incentive to get people there early and
Where
get
is
them ready.
Where are they checking?
In the White House District at Simple Organics.
And then I see Mr. Medora.
Ashley's on the board, so Ashley, do you know if the village and the township have coordinated Halloween? This is kind of off the wall, we're off the subject a little bit, but
I haven't changed anything. I think the standard 6 to 7:30, I think it is, on Halloween
We
night.
should probably put that on.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
gonna be
it's-
a Monday this year, so it's not gonna be on the weekend.
Always on that day, but I can post it to the DDA Facebook, and if you want me to log into the
The
village, I can
last
do
2
that.
years we took it to council, but I don't know if it was simply because of COVID.
I thought it was COVID related.
Councilperson Helmut said that years ago, they talked about it, they moved it once, and it was a disaster. And so they decided just leave it on Halloween, and it is what it is.
It was a disaster when they moved it. Catherine, do you remember what the township said for Halloween?
6 to 7:30.
6 to 7.
Okay.
Same.
Good, perfect.
Same,
Just making sure that's all coordinated, because I know we talked about it at the township board too, so.
yeah.
Okay,
Village had to move their meetings, that meeting would have been last week.
I'm sorry, I was very busy.
a quick comment, I mentioned some things about the SEMCOG meeting, talked about, I was there Thursday and I sent an email about it, but one thing here, you mentioned ARPA money. I know the county got, I think, $244 million.
Yeah.
Little chunk of change there. The meeting was at Thursday, so the 2 lobbyists that were there strongly emphasized that anyone who has money coming due, they consider using it, not waiting. And it might not be there if they wait too long.
Yeah.
So that was put forth pretty strongly. Okay. One more thing too, just to throw it out there for the tables that Grace mentioned, maybe we consider hiring some people to help out too next year, so you don't have to lug it around yourself. You know.
We lift things up, we put them down. That's my famous line, I'm like.
I made it too easy for her that one, didn't I? Okay, organization committee, Chief Schultz.
We met, basically was a catch-up on all the projects around town so we can know where everything was. The sidewalks, leveling had been done over on the east side, and we got to the point that now with the Consumers Energy project coming up, a lot of them are going to be taken care of for that project, and also we basically quit at that point. Everything should be getting ready for the northeast parking lot resurfacing bid specs and documents, so as soon as our engineers can get them ready at the first year for that to go out to bid. Planters are being replaced because the finish is all peeling off on them, and the new planters have arrived, and they will be basically swapped out over to DPW yard and put back over here in the spring when everything's ready to go on that. The bylaws status, I believe, are on in front of you. We can take one final look at those tonight and give our final blessing. Consumer Energy grant, like I mentioned, is moving forward. Part of what we've seen, the mural that we just got painted over on the side of Creative Embroidery, and basically plans are getting ready for the rest of that to be happening next year. An update was given on the Scarecrow Festival, which we already got this evening. We also did talk at the org meeting about moving our meeting time for the org committee, because not everybody can make the morning meeting that we've been doing, so we're looking at changing our time on that until the afternoon. And then we did discuss the Christmas lighting, and I believe we've got that in our packet for this evening.
And then I'll interject this too. Is this promo, I don't know, I'll ask you, with the Christmas parade with the Chamber of Commerce, since we're on, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this during the executive director's report. What's the status on that?
Yeah, so Kimberly started to fill out the paperwork. Instead of doing a float and spending our time on that, it was brought up that we should just utilize the trolley and have the trolley in the parade with the big DDA banner. And then I figure if your kids, and if you guys have any, nieces and nephews or anybody would like to ride with us in the parade, I think that that'd be really cool to have them like waving out the window. And we'll just utilize, lights and decorate it. And then we'd like to put it in the Lake Orion lighted parade that night, since we kind of share the trolley, and then we'll kind of do the same thing so that we have a presence in both.
Pete, have you been anywhere in lighted parade?
I've never been down. I've sent my crews have gone down every year, and we've won it quite a few times.
Oh, funny how you just plug that in there.
But it's quite a event. Everybody really likes it.
I don't know. Yeah, have you been?
Yeah, oh, yes.
I just feel like the trolley would be nice and warm too. So,
Dang, walk into that one. Call us made up right now.
that's awesome. And Pete, I did follow up with Brian Travis. He did get back to me. He's working with Tranquility to get them done in the next 2 weeks for all the planters to have them back. And I did ask him about saving the 6 for each quad to help us put some in the back.
Perfect.
Thanks, Pete. Our org committee meeting went really well. I thought it was very efficient, or effective. The Economic Vitality Committee, speaking of efficient and effective.
I don't know if this one was very efficient, this last meeting. So we did a tour of the district. So it was agenda item number 1 after saying hi to each other, and that's all we got to. But it was really helpful. I think in here you can see our DDA district map. And so we just drove around and made sure we knew exactly what was in district and what wasn't and where our boundaries were. And just were able to find some spaces that maybe we could focus over here in the future or over there, areas that need immediate attention, ones that are doing really great. So it was just nice to have that solid, this is where we are moving forward.
Like Ken Kesey, but never mind, that's a novel you probably haven't read.
So that's as far as we got for that meeting, but I did email Kelly and Rod about next month, so I didn't know what your thoughts would be. Do you want to hold it without me? Or
We can talk about it. I think maybe we'll have our new member participate in something, it's their first inaugural meeting. And you're not going to be there.
for November, well, yes.
Well,
I can put together an agenda and
Would you
just
please?
tell you what to do. Yes.
We know that, yes.
All right, sounds good.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you.
No, I really appreciate how you set up the meetings, Ashley. Really do.
And that was very eye-opening, just going through the district, because there are, as you can see on my map, there's so many turns, and there was even things that surprised me, so it was actually, I think, brilliant for us to do that. So thank you for setting that up.
I think it'd be helpful to do it as onboarding for anyone that joins in the future,
Agreed.
regardless.
Yeah.
You know what?
Bryce, get ready.
That's a great point.
I can agree. It's very
Actually, that's a great point, because, it's like even the bridge, I didn't know the bridge was in our district until recently. Like that thing was outside.
Which is part of the Valiant trip.
There we go. Promotion Committee, meeting of October 10th. Kelly, you want to take that one, please?
Sure, yeah. So we kind of chatted about Witches Night already. Soup and Sweet, we were talking about what we wanted to do from a sponsor perspective, and then just if we liked selling the tickets before, like we did last year, the amount of soup that we wanted, and then we kind of delegated out to everybody to either get a sponsor on board or a restaurant on board, so they've been kind of going around, they've been trickling in as well. So it looks like we have everybody's buy-in this year again, and we'll do the same thing where we'll sell tickets before, we'll do the punch cards so that people walk around. We're adding a few new things in this year, so we wanted to do, one of the ideas that came out of promo is to set up a Christmas tree in the park that's by the gardens, and then when we have the ornament decorating station for like the kids or for parents, whoever wants to decorate them, then they can hang them on the tree as like a community tree. So just to get people more involved. We're still looking for a reindeer. I know, it's rough.
Not looking.
Not looking good, okay, because reindeer are expensive.
$1,000 an hour.
Yes,
For a minimum of 2 hours.
yes.
Yeah.
So we're,
I would say no.
yes, well, we were gonna pay for it, it was gonna be sponsored, but I don't know. That's what I said, I'm like, I wish I named Dublin. But we will have Santa, the high school's gonna get involved with caroling. Yeah, so it'll be really nice. We're also trying to hire some strolling carolers, so while people are out doing soup, they can kind of stroll throughout. And then we'd also like to kind of activate Washington Square with some warming barrels and things down there, just to give people more places to just hang out. We'll take out the games. I mean, it's winter time, but I think it'll be a blast.
Let me interject an idea for you in reference to the reindeers. What about alpacas, since there's
Oh
a
my
couple of
gosh.
alpaca farms around here?
We talked about alpaca.
Because, there's one off Baldwin there.
But alpaca does not strike me as magical.
But they're fluffy. They're fluffy.
They're built on sweaters.
There's some.
They're not $2,000. Stop it, right there.
I mean,
Seriously? Have you been to the alpaca place up there?
No, I have not.
Have you guys done that?
No.
Field
There's
trip.
there's a card in the turnstile thing
Yeah.
by the clerk's office. There's one of the places has unicorn party rentals.
So we should have a Christmas unicorn. I mean,
Why not?
Look into the
the
alpaca.
kids are gonna find this amazing. It doesn't even matter. Animals are just, they're great with kids.
Well, we'll look
Okay.
into that, 'cause that could be fun too, like a Christmas decorated unicorn, like red and green.
Yeah,
They
they
could
could
have
have a flashing horn like
There
Rudolph.
All right, we better get back on
We have
track.
gone so far downhill looking at Pete's face right now because this is not okay. We did go through the farmer's market
Design-
feedback and holiday markets as well. Okay,
Design
done.
committee, since, Catherine, could you kind of review that, please, since you're on that committee?
The design committee, we talked a lot about Christmas decorations, and a lot about cool lights versus warm lighting, and
I
I
know.
have no opinion.
No, it's okay, it's okay. The conversation stemmed from last year where I have this vision of just an old-fashioned Christmas, so I want these warm yellow lights, but we wanted to match what DPW had already, so last year it ended up with the cool white lights. And it's fine, it's just they tinge blue to me, and then we already have the lights that hang in the park and they're warm yellow, and it's not matching and I like matching. So it was a lot of conversation about lights, color. It was. We did talk about,
Go
ahead.
Oh, it's okay.
Go ahead,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Catherine.
The conservation grants, we talked about the butterflies, and I was not there for that meeting when we met the butterfly person, but people were pretty excited about creating these butterfly conservation areas and the spaces, so we'll see if that can come through. Of course, we know our favorite artist is painting murals, so it's good to know. And there were no new grants, so money's just been approved and waiting. No new grant requests this month, so.
Quick comment on murals, they've been favorably received. I think, yeah, I'm sure, nothing but positive comments, at least. I'm not familiar with anything negative.
Very much so, yeah, and we had a couple of business owners contact Nick to come back in the spring. So they'll be submitting their proposals to the village for approval, and he'll be back painting in the spring.
Okay, so moving on to item 8A, planters and M24.
Yep, so, and I mentioned it earlier to Pete, so the planters are here. DPW was gracious enough to just house them all for us. Tranquility, who planted the plants originally, will be coming in, and it's quite a process because that is quite a lot of steps of, planting materials in those black planters out on M24 because they have to have drainage. So they are going to have to go through all of them and change all of that over. And it snowed today, I didn't count on that. I was like, come on guys, I only have probably a couple more weeks to do this, but it is a good time to plant. And then Pete had a great idea that we could keep some of the planters that are out there, the ones that look okay, and utilize them for the back areas of the businesses. So, because there are some that are not in really rough shape, that they're not feeling too bad.
Go ahead, Pete.
When they, obviously are taking the plants out and doing, so they're gonna go ahead and cut everything back then, so they'll be all cut back and ready for the winter, we don't have to have that done specially by something else?
So if they don't, we already talked about it, to have volunteers come in and help us, because we didn't cut back last year, and it really was kind of a mess. So if they don't, then we'll make sure that we have our volunteers and get out there and do it.
And that note, since you brought DPW, Pete, have you had any conversations in advance regarding snow removal, which comes up every year?
Joe and I talked about it a little bit. We're gonna do some videos this year that help the business owners to understand what they need to take care of. So, and we're
Okay.
going to make them humorous and make them light, so that this can be a great conversation this year.
And just so the board knows, every year it's a controversy, I mean, forever, and not just Oxford. I've attended some DDA board meetings in Oregon, believe it or not, and I even went to a board meeting in Rochester, and the same conversation came up everywhere. So it's not like we're doing something terribly here, it's just part
And
of
I
the
brought this up
geography.
to the county, trying to find a director that has a better solution, and
It doesn't exist.
they're all going through the same
That's why I said, I've attended
conversations.
several board meetings, different communities, and the same thing comes up everywhere. To different degrees of intensity.
Yep.
Okay, next item on the bylaws. So we want to start with that, Kelly, or?
Yep, so we-
Medora, do you want to stand up? Do you want to participate in this, please? Or, do you want to come up?
Not necessarily. The only comment I have is the very, very last paragraph where it says Robert Rules of Order are your rules. That kind of pins you down to the exact word of Robert's rules. I would think use them as a guideline. Might be better.
So we should modify, I would agree with that, that's too pointed.
Yeah, could we also include in there that if we don't use Robert's rules, to use like one of the simplified versions of Robert's rules?
I don't think we have to use any version, I think we say guidelines, that gives us the flexibility as they change, because if we get too specific, then we've created our.
Somebody could pull something out of Robert's Rules of Order and say, you're not doing this right. It's like.
Which item number is that? I don't remember.
It's right below the signatures. Or right
Yeah,
above the
they're saying
signatures.
like line to the page, so the Martha's rules and Robert's rules are a bit more flexible and simplified as well.
Yeah, I would just soon we strike that entirely, because we can say guideline, but I don't have any specific name involved, that's just too strict, and we're never gonna follow everything exactly, just like we're not
Where
tonight.
we strike the whole 10 through 12?
What are we on, 11?
Well, no, I'm just trying, so lines, so page 6, line 10.
Page 6.
Oh, it's,
Yes, lines 10 through, well, the entire article.
Oh, because I did, if you look at the new one, I'm sorry. The one that's
It's
clean.
lines 10 through 12 we're striking.
Oh, okay.
And I'll ask everybody a chance to take a look at that.
Article 11, you don't want to have parliamentary authority.
Yeah, we don't want that there at all, because what I'm trying to do is some degree of flexibility as opposed to having it, lockjaw.
So you'd have Article 10, and then the next sentence would be adopted by the DDA, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
As Article 10.
Joe, thank you for that, appreciate that.
So that proves I read it all the way to the bottom.
It does prove it.
I didn't start at the bottom.
Are you sure about that?
Did you have something? Sorry.
No, I can't.
Ashley, you have a comment?
Okay.
No, I thought Trace did. No, okay.
Okay. I think we should take a vote on this, just to make sure, because this is going to go to the village council, right? And I want to make sure that we're all singing the same song here, so we've seen these several times over the last, how many months have we been doing this? 3 or 4 months, I think now, we've kind of gone back on the org committee, plus at the board level.
Too many.
Yeah, quite a bit, I know, I'm kind of frustrated looking at it. Any other comments on it, Pete?
The next line down, which was adopted by August 21st, 2006, and then amended, so amended, is that going to be as tonight's date?
I think that won't that be
For the
Or that would be in the
Village
village,
Council.
tonight, village council approves it?
Yeah, that should not be on there, amended on, so we,
If we approve it, I think it would be tonight.
Is our approval or the council?
it's going to take both approvals. We approve it first, then we submit it to the council, and council then just
I think
final.
it should be adopted, what you guys have there currently, and then I think that there should be a line underneath that talking about council. Because I think we should have both on there, adopted by the DDA and then council.
Approved?
Yeah, approved by the council.
Is this on the agenda for Wednesday?
No.
It will be.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was gonna be over the hump tonight, then we put the packet together last week, so I didn't want. And I think you said you were looking to have these go into place January 1, correct me?
At the latest, I mean, I'd like to get it done this Wednesday because we do have time.
We can add it on. It just, I didn't know if we wanted to wait a month, it wasn't urgent, but.
Yeah, I think it is urgent because it's really long in the tooth at this
It would
point.
be better if it could be this month because it won't be next month's meeting.
Okay. I think it'd be great if Ashley's there. because
Yeah, it's
she's-
not a big deal, it's not controversial, it's not a big deal, we can add that tomorrow.
And most of them have already read the previous version, and Kelsey has gone through and
Yes.
reviewed everything line by line, so her comment, everything's already incorporated in it, it should be pretty straightforward.
And we've gone through this more times than,
Yeah.
Harvard's got little bills, pardon?
The fine tooth comb's getting tired.
Well, we missed a few of those 5 Ts, but you caught them, thank you. So, anyhow, does that answer your question, Kelly, what the
Yeah,
plan
I
is?
think
So we can
that's
submit it
great,
to
and
village
then
council?
we'll do Wednesday, and I'll be there with you, Ashley, if we need to do
I'll
anything for it.
update this with the changes.
Okay, we'll send it out.
Perfect.
I'm on the agenda tomorrow. Just me and Kim here tomorrow, Terry's gotta be out for some sick grandkids, so. Me and Kim, we holding on for it tomorrow.
I have us.
I know, what the heck?
But our phones don't ring in your office.
I know.
Exactly.
Can you fix that?
No, no, we can't.
Unfortunately, we can't.
You could have fun. Okay, the next item on the agenda here, wait a minute, we're gonna vote on this. I'm sorry, I jumped right off into this stuff. So let's take a vote on adopting these bylaws. So Catherine, if you can do a roll call vote, please.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, we do. Don't confuse me with the facts. So,
I make a motion to approve the bylaws as amended.
Second?
Okay.
so now, any further discussion? Okay, so on the vote?
Bryce Clark.
Yes.
Grace Carey.
Yes.
Stephanie Colvin, yes. Ashley Ross.
Yes.
Marie Powers.
Yes.
Brad Charles.
Yes.
Pete Schultz.
Yes.
Hooray. Okay, now we want to website update.
Yeah, so this is just really quick for you, nothing for you guys to look at this month, but I did have Erin, who's working on our website, and she has been working diligently with both Kimberly and myself. There was just a lot of updates that needed to happen, and a lot of district updates. So we've been working on this for months, but she came in and presented like the first portion of it, and guys, it blew me away. I have to say, I did not expect. I did pull some websites when we first met that I just really loved that other DDAs had, and I gave those to her, but I just didn't know if she could even get us there with what we had, and I was just completely enamored by this website. And Dorothy was so sweet. She went out and took all new photos, so it has the updates from 24 and the district, and it's beautiful. So we're making a few additional changes and just some things that I wanted to clear up, but it should be ready by next month, and we'll come and we'll have it so that you guys can see it. But they did phenomenal, and if you remember, that was a grant from Oakland County, so we didn't pay a dime for it, which is awesome.
That was really good. Pete?
Along with the website, what is the DDA doing for IT? Being as our IT person is no more.
So Joe from the village would know more.
Yeah, so, actually, I think James Owens and I from Multi-Tech have come to an agreement where he will continue with us. He was in my office last week, we were discussing that, and I believe he is just gonna stay with us and help us. He's here every Wednesday working as an officer. So, he always pops in and checks on us when he's here on those days. Well, almost always. And, we can go like an a la carte thing with him, we can continue the $750 a month we pay him, we're looking at what our options are. But I am very pleased enough that I think he's gonna stay right with us.
Because the concern I had is obviously he's the only one that knows how to do the thing with the sound system downtown back and forth, and if, he's only in town half the time on Wednesday, most of the time he's sitting on the beach in Florida, so.
So I have had him install the hardware a couple months ago on my computer, so I have everything that I need now, and I am proud to say that I probably know it better than him at this point, because I've had to call the company a few times and tweak it and things like that, so I know it in and out now.
Okay.
So I feel that we're in a really good position, whether we stay with James or if we have somebody else come in.
Well, I'm telling you that point, it might be good to think of a backup. If something happens.
I'll have to talk Kimberly.
Well, it could be Kimberly, but I think, the idea that you could cross-train somebody to do those tasks, because if you're out of town at one of these conferences you're talking about and it goes awry, then it'd be great if Kimberly knows that.
Yeah, so Kimberly, we had to train her a few weeks ago actually, because she was managing some of the farmers market and it needed to be on and off. So I was able to show her how to do it. And then, if one of you guys would like to learn too, I'd be happy to train one of you on it.
Grace wants it turned up on her because.
That's right.
I don't know why it's never working.
You're the speaker very close to my side.
Yours is on the lowest, I promise.
Okay, number 9A, Christmas lights.
It's so fun to talk about Christmas lights in October. I made the joke to my husband today because I am a November 1st decorator of Christmas, and I was like, it's snowing, and I should just start early. He did not think that was funny. You'll see the proposal by Excel. We utilized them last year. I did want to talk to them about a few changes, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, but financially, it's pretty much the same that we did last year. They didn't charge us more for the tree, even though their prices increased a little bit just because of everything increasing because of inflation. But we did talk about the poles had a lot of tripping last year. I felt like I made 15 calls to them over the 6-week period of time. Hey, 3 poles on the south side are out in front of this restaurant, and it was just kind of a bear. So what they are doing is they're investing in the warm white lights, first of all. But it's a new waterproof strand, and it's only one strand, so they don't connect in the middle, so that should not happen this year. So even though the ones were weatherproof last year, this one is above and beyond what that even was, so we shouldn't have that problem. The other part of that is we talked about going down to the one strand this year so that we can hopefully run music and we won't have a hard time. So we have a plan. When they come out, the day that we have them come out and start the install, we're going to be in the museum turning it on and off. We're going to be working with the sound system on. That way if we do trip it, we can see where that is happening and make sure that we're all buttoned up.
Do you have access to that building?
I have somebody I can call for access.
Okay, 9B, how do we title that one? Pete, go ahead.
Do we not need to approve this?
I would like a motion on this just because it's a larger dollar amount, if that's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
He doesn't want to approve it, he just wondered.
So the amount is the $8,411 is the correct amount?
That's correct.
All right, that'll be my motion to approve that then.
I'll second that. For discussion? Let's take a vote then, Kathy.
Bryce Clark.
Yes.
Grace Carey.
Yes.
Catherine Colvin, yes. Ashley Ross.
Yes.
Marie Powers.
Yes.
Rod Charles.
Yes.
Pete Schultz.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought we already put down that.
It was in the budget, and it was approved in the budget. I just felt like it was a large amount. I just feel better about it.
Sure. 9B, election of officers. So our year ended September,
Yes.
so we, chairperson and vice chair and treasurer and
Secretary.
secretary, we have 4.
Well, yours is a 2-year term, so you're not getting out of it, but we can elect new if we want to. 2-year? No, it's not 2-year?
No, it's not. It's 1 year.
Officers, it's 1 year.
The new bylaw.
Until Wednesday. Fingers crossed.
Oh, okay, I get it, okay.
The new bylaws make it 2 years, but currently it's 1 year.
So it's interesting because when we had Nicole, it was a 2-year term with
Yeah.
Nicole.
What's
I
previous
was
one?
incorrect. The bylaw said 1 year.
Oh,
I
interesting.
thought Pete did it a couple years in a row.
Yeah, we talked about
I
it.
think it said what?
So we have to impeach him now?
Yep. Both impeachment.
Well, the bylaws say 1 year and a maximum of 2 years, so maybe someone missed.
Well, there you go.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Maybe it's
Maximum.
1 year term for a maximum of 2.
And
so you're not voting for a 2-year term.
Consecutive term, so you
Got it.
could be
Yes.
president, or sorry, chair, whatever the term is, and then you could have a year off and hop back on.
Right.
It just can't be back to back.
Okay,
The other thing, the new bylaws, and kind of jumping off this 9B for a little bit, the new bylaws say that the village and township representatives cannot be chairperson or vice chair. So I learned.
I don't want your job.
thanks so much.
Okay, 9B, so let's move on that. You wanna proceed, Pete?
Go ahead, Rod.
You nominate people, how's that?
I would assume to nominate Rod for chair again.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Nay. Okay, vice chair?
Did you say nay?
I said all.
You said nay. You said all.
Everybody else hear that? I heard it.
Okay, it doesn't work.
It wasn't unanimous.
Yeah, you're
Don't
fine.
tell that to the village council, so, Ashley?
I just have a question. So when the new rules or bylaws are adopted, that just changes your term. It doesn't mean we have to re-vote or anything.
Correct. What we're voting on tonight is technically, we should have done this back in September anyhow, so it would all be
Yeah, okay.
back.
Okay.
Thank you.
So vice chair, I nominate Marie Powers.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, Marie Powers. Okay, next we'll say treasurer, though Terry Onika functionally serves that role.
We
right?
changed the definitions.
That's right, we changed it, I can't remember the exact words. We had some extended conversation about that.
We removed treasurer completely because,
We did because Terry really does
Yes,
the job.
okay, the DDA executive director will work in conjunction with the Village of Oxford treasurer to manage all financial. So between our ED and the village clerk and treasurer.
We don't need a
We don't need a
treasurer.
treasurer. It was not,
You're right.
but we have 2 days that we're still operating under previous.
So who wants to be treasurer for 2 days? I nominate Bryce Clark to be treasurer for 2 days.
Second?
Second by Captain Coleman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Gotta go to your resume, Bryce.
They'll never know if you don't put dates down.
2022.
I'll nominate Catherine for secretary.
I'll second that.
So, but this is also a change. So it says the DDA may elect a secretary or assign with compensation a record keeper.
Well, I think if we have a secretary, we have somebody that can do roll and things like that separately. So
Okay.
I'd like to continue with that. If that's okay with
Maybe
me.
you change your bylaw to and or, because it means one or the other, and you've already declared picky. Normally.
And or,
I'm just saying, if it sounds like it's one or the other, and you want both.
That was the intention when we wrote it.
Yeah.
So, let's see, where were we then? So, we have Catherine and nominated and seconded. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay. Any other offices that we need to consider?
No other question.
Village manager?
Back to that, you already approved
I
your
know,
bylaws, do you want to amend?
I think
That
this is the
amendment?
time. I would amend our bylaws to say and or so we can,
Have both?
Yep.
I'll second that. Discussion on that? All in
Was it a
favor?
motion? She made the motion.
She made the motion
Okay.
to change that. I seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay. Good catch, Joe. I'm ready to go home tonight.
What I do, I stay for you guys.
You're appreciated somewhere.
Somewhere. Not home.
We appreciate him.
It's a sincere compliment, you know that. So we've got Christmas lights, board items removed from the consent agenda. We have none, and let's go to board member comments. So let's start with Bryce Clark, since he's an official. Mr. Clark?
I got nothing to say at this time,
Whoa.
but happy to be here. We do have a typo on page 2 though. I don't think it's the Oxford Village Manger.
This first
It's a festive version.
Got it, thank you. We're just making sure you're catching it.
Yeah.
Really.
You passed.
Welcome.
All right, Grace, I'm gonna skip over Ashley so she can
Yeah.
recover.
I do have some comments. I wanted to thank Kelly for all the amazing work she did for the Scarecrow Festival. I was volunteering at that this year. We had absolutely incredible turnout. Heard a lot of great things from the residents that were attending. Met a lot of folks who were not from town who came all the way in, so that's always good to see. So yeah, that's my main comment.
Thank you, and thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, Ashley, have you recovered now?
Yes. I have 2 quick notes. First, about Stars of Hope. It will be coming down, the stars will be coming down sometime between December 1st and 3rd. But I don't know when the structure will come down. I don't think we've heard anything back from the schools.
I got an email from the schools today. She apologized, she was on vacation, so she is running it by a few people to see if we can have it at the schools, and then she's getting back to me.
Okay. If not, we'll just ask DPW to take it down. Thank you. And then this is just a general comment. I love getting all of the reports at the front, but what we noticed driving around is like the ordinance officer, there's some problem areas that don't get addressed and others do. So I don't know if that's like something I should chat more with you about. Okay. Other than that, welcome. And that's it.
Okay, Marie?
Yeah, welcome to the 2 new members. And Scarecrow Fest was great. I'd be curious to see how many people actually attended. I probably don't have a way to know that for sure, but.
We tried to estimate like throughout the day, and we're thinking close to about 2,000.
Great.
So I think it was great attendance.
Just looking forward to the Soup and Sweet Stroll. That's always a great event. And I'm personally super excited about the website update. That's it.
Catherine?
Yeah, just welcome to members. Happy to have you, and great job, everyone.
Mr. Schultz?
Welcome new members. Look forward to working with you guys. It's exciting to see some new, younger members, new outside ideas coming in to work with us. I think that's exciting. Kelly, to you and all your volunteers and everything, great job. I apologize for not being there. After going to the Lions game, now I wish I was there. Entire day. Would have been a better day. Not so cool. But, and I will dip chili in front of Naps this year, so you can put me down on the list for that one.
Thank you.
So I get to finish up. I agree with Pete about the football game, since I was there suffering along with Pete. That was horrible, but I'm glad you guys had a good time. Second thing, Grace and Bryce, look forward to working with you guys. I'm kind of excited after I spent a lot of time speaking to you guys. I think there's a couple of quality people we have on the DDA board to join the other quality people. And then complimenting Kelly and Ashley both on the things that you've talked about, like the farmer's market, the artisan market, and the event that Pete and I sadly missed. That's phenomenal. Plus, you mentioned the $3,000 that could be made. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really interesting. The parade thing, I'm looking forward to that too. I think that should be fun. I hope all of us get a chance to do that, ride the trolley, and in our with our friends down in Lower Oxford, the lighted parade, which I've been a couple times, and it's really a cool parade. It's a lot of fun. Assuming the weather's nice. I've been there when it's cold and rainy, but
We're gonna be on a trolley, it's fine.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. It's gonna be,
You're not riding in the front hood or anything like that?
no, I will be warm
I can
inside,
see
thank you.
Another comment too, Ashley, thank you for the work on the bylaws. That's a lot of work there that went on, a lot of conversation, a lot of emails back and forth. That was pretty nice to see that taken care of. So that's about it. And for the org committee, one thing to keep in mind is we have our next meeting, we need to talk about two wonderful people here, Kelly and Ashley. We have compensation discussions coming up as well.
You can pay me.
I'm sorry, Kimberly and Kelly.
Ashley's like, I think so.
Well, now that you mentioned it, let's double the pay of everybody in the board. Okay?
And you get a raise, everybody gets a raise.
Pete's gonna need it because he's retiring from the party.
It's fine, he has us.
Okay, so we can a motion to finish our meeting now?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.